You know that feeling, right? You look at your credit card statement, you make your payment right on time, and then next month, you see that the total balance has barely even moved. It is so frustrating. And guess what? It's not an accident, it's by design. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on this exact thing, the hidden trap of the minimum payment.
So that's the big question, isn't it? Why isn't your debt shrinking? You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're paying the bill every month, but the debt just feels like it's never going away. Well, the answer is hiding in plain sight, in that one tiny, seemingly harmless number on your statement, the minimum payment.
So to make this super real, let's just use a common example. Let's say you've got a credit card balance of $5,000. I mean, it's a decent chunk of change, but it feels manageable, right? Especially when you look at your bill and you see that nice, small minimum payment that's due.
And that brings us right to our first big idea, what I call the minimum payment illusion. And it really is an illusion because it gives you this completely false sense of progress. You feel like you're chipping away at this mountain of debt, but what you're really doing is just paying for the privilege of staying in debt. So, what even is the minimum payment? Well, the credit card companies have a pretty simple formula. It's usually a teeny tiny percentage of your balance, like just 1 to 3%. Or sometimes it's 1% of your balance plus all the interest and fees they charged you for that month. Either way you slice it, it's engineered to be the absolute lowest amount of money you can possibly pay to keep your account in good standing. And here is where it gets crazy. This is the crucial part. When you only pay that minimum, a massive chunk of your money, we're talking the overwhelming majority of it, is just instantly eaten up by interest. What's left to actually reduce what you owe? A tiny little sliver. It barely makes a dent.
So if the minimum payment is the bait, what's the engine that powers the trap? Well, that brings us to the next piece of the puzzle, the high interest trap. And this whole thing is fueled by 3 little letters, APR, annual percentage rate.
And here it is. This is the villain of our story. Right now, the average credit card APR is somewhere in the low 20s. Let me be clear, that's not just some number on a piece of paper. It is a powerful, powerful force that is actively working against your financial goals every single day. And see, that high APR isn't a one-time thing. It is so destructive because the interest compounds. That means you're not just paying interest on the money you borrowed. You're paying interest on top of your interest, month after month after month. It's like trying to run up an escalator that's going down. You have to run really fast just to stay in the exact same place. Okay, all of this theory is one thing, but let's actually look at the cold, hard numbers. This is where you can really see the true cost of just making those minimum payments. And honestly, it is shocking. Let's run a test with a pretty realistic scenario. Imagine you have an $8,000 debt and it's on a card with a 22% APR. We're going to look at 2 different paths. Path number 1, you only pay the minimum each month. Path number 2, you decide to pay a fixed, steady $300 a month. The difference between these 2 paths is, well, you're about to see.
Wow, okay, just look at these results. They are staggering. By sticking with just the minimum payment, you end up paying over $11,000 in interest. That's more than the $1,800 you originally owed. But with that accelerated plan, paying just $300 a month, the total interest plummets to less than $3,000.
The money you save is incredible, but what about your time? I think this timeline is just as shocking. Paying that fixed $300 gets you completely debt-free in about 3 years. But if you stick to the minimum payment plan, you are shackled to that same debt for over 20 years. Think about that. You're not just saving money, you are literally buying back decades of your life.
So let's just boil it down to this. That simple decision to pay more than the minimum saves you over $8,000 in this scenario. Just stop and think for a second. What could you do with an extra $8,000? That's the real cost, the one that's hidden inside the convenience of that tiny minimum payment. But here's the thing. The damage isn't just about the money. Being stuck in a long-term debt cycle like this has other really serious consequences, the kind that don't actually show up on your monthly statement. First step, there's opportunity cost. Every single dollar that you pay in interest is a dollar you couldn't put into savings or invest for your future. Second, it hurts your credit score. Carrying a high balance compared to your credit limit, that's called high credit utilization, it makes you look risky to lenders and it will drag your score down. And finally, and this one's a big one, the mental toll. The constant, draining stress of knowing you're stuck in this cycle, it can affect your sleep, your relationships, your health, just your overall peace of mind.
Okay, so we've laid out the trap, we have seen just how much damage it can do, so now for the good part. Let's talk about how to get out. This is your straightforward, actionable escape plan to break this cycle for good.
All right, step 1, and I cannot stress this enough. Stop digging the hole deeper. Don't add any new purchases to the card you're trying to pay off. Step 2, pay more than the minimum every single time. Even an extra $20 helps. 3, get strategic. Use what's called the debt avalanche method. You take all your extra payment money and throw it at the card with the highest interest rate first to knock it out as efficiently as possible. 4th, use the info they have to give you. Your statement legally has to show you how long it'll take to pay off your debt by making minimum payments versus a slightly higher payment. Look at it. And finally, you could look into a 0% balance transfer card, but you have to be so careful. You need a rock-solid plan to pay it off before that amazing intro rate disappears.
And look, you don't need to suddenly find hundreds of extra dollars to make a real impact. You'd be amazed. Even finding an extra $50, maybe $100 a month to throw at your debt can shave years off your payoff time and save you thousands in interest. Small, consistent actions create huge results.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Take a look at your budget, look at your spending, and just ask yourself, what one extra payment, no matter how small it feels, can you make this month to start buying back your money, your time, and your peace of mind? The power to break the cycle really is in your hands.